AI could eliminate up to 50% of entry level white collar jobs within the next 5 years in the United States, potentially driving unemployment to 10 to 20%.
And what important point have you not touched on yet?
I think we are going to be very surprised over the course of the next year of that a true adoption happens. We have many use cases, so 50 or more use cases that I've been tracking over the last couple of years, many of which have been waiting for kind of a regulatory friendly environment to deploy into. I think we're past the experimentation stage, and the fear of missing out and the competitive nature of this space is really going to drive some of this adoption forward.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. That gentleman right there was Rob Allen, Director of HEDERA Enterprise Adoption at Hashgraph, and you heard him mention just a few days ago that we are exiting the experimentation phase, and people are going to be surprised at how fast enterprise adoption of digital assets and blockchains scales. With that being said, in today's video breakdown, we are going to be diving into some AI related developments, some things that have been said from global industry leaders across the board, the likes of whom you just listened to, gentlemen from HEDERA. We're going to be tapping into some commentary from Gilbert Verdian from Quant Network, and just some things that align with this whole World Economic Forum agenda, considering that right now global leaders are gathering together for the 56th annual World Economic Forum Davos Summit. Started yesterday and is going all the way until midweek this week. And so starting off with that video clip from HEDERA, reason I'm playing that for you guys is because that is going to align with some of the documents that I'm going to share with you guys today, where the documents are even saying that we are exiting this proof of concept, this testing phase, and we are about to really start to kick it into gear between now, 2030 and beyond. So here we have Mance Harmon. This also aligns because obviously, of course, they are co-sponsoring the U.S. House at the Davos World Economic Forum event. Mance Harmon just posted this today on his X profile. So this just goes to show that HEDERA is in line with the global consortium of leaders that run this globe. Now, what I find so interesting about what the gentleman from HEDERA said is that aligns with this document here that I shared with you guys from the CYPRX Research Discord. And I said here, yes, the opportunity ahead is significant. And yes, tracking developments on regulatory mandates and aligning to how clearing payments and transfer of value may evolve becomes absolutely essential. And this is the WNS Top 5 Tech Trends set to transform banking and financial services in 2026 and beyond. And this is a report that was shared inside the private CYPRX Discord and just goes hand in hand with what the gentleman from HEDERA was saying. Here this reads: navigating the future with purpose, intelligence, and trust. The trends shaping 2026 and beyond. Governance is shifting from optional to essential, and AI is becoming more cognitive and emotionally aware. We're definitely going to be diving into AI today, and you're going to want to stick around for the entirety of today's video breakdown because we're going to be reading some excerpts from the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report 2026. There is some crazy symbology in this report you're not going to want to miss out on. We'll get to this and come back to it in just 1 second. Back to the WNS report, it says the opportunity ahead is significant, but it requires decisive action. The institutions that move now, guided by deep domain insights and responsible innovation, will not only adapt to the future of financial services, but also help shape it. And so if reports from these large organizations, global leaders, are telling banks that they should take decisive action and start to move now, what do you think we as retail investors should do? Again, hint, hint, they always tell us in the documents before things take place. Now, in this stock, it says the banking and financial services, or BFS industry, is entering a period of rapid structural change as emerging technologies reshape revenue pools, customer interactions, and core operations. About 66% of banking CEOs are confident in their growth perspectives, with 81% naming generative AI as top investment areas to drive business transformation. Overall, the industry is moving from the digitization to an intelligence led and interconnected operating model. Data rich processes, programmable money flows. I like that, programmable money flows, because that aligns with Quant's whole entire business model, programmable money. Automation and decentralized architecture are reshaping how value is created, exchanged, and protected. These shifts are accelerating expectations around speed, resilience, and personalization, which also redefine risk, security, and operational designs, are taking place. Here in the strategic implications, it specifically talks about regulatory mandates and aligning to how clearing payments and transfer of value may evolve. Paying attention to these things becomes essential. Then it talks about with yield generation and transactional convenience emerges a primary driver for stablecoin use. Future product and engagement models will need to reflect how investors engage with digital assets. So they're always telling us these things in their documents. So many people right now, because the lack of price action in different altcoins across the board, Quant and HEDERA included, are being shaken out of their positions because they think that this space is dead in the water. It's going away. And I'm here to show you guys that in the documents and from the industry leading experts and global leaders themselves, that is the farthest thing from the truth. Developments are only just now starting to ramp up, and we are still in the early innings of this entire digital transformation. Believe it or not, as crappy as that is to hear that, in 2026, we are still early. Now, the World Economic Forum put this out just 8 minutes ago on their LinkedIn profile, and it says AI has moved far beyond experimentation and is already reshaping how industries operate, how economies evolve, and how people's experience work. Now, this aligns right here where it says AI has moved far beyond experimentation with what the gentleman from HEDERA said. Okay. The gentleman from HEDERA said that we are out of the experimentation phase, and people are going to be surprised at how fast enterprise adoption starts to scale. Considering that this is coming from the World Economic Forum and it's talking about AI, they also put this out January 17th, 2026. Why AI without humanity is incomplete, and they have an AI shaking the human's hand. I mean, the symbology is just nuts. This leads me over here into a post thread that Gilbert Verdian just recently put out. This is from today, January 18th, 2026, from This Rising. And Gilbert here says, and by the way, this is the CEO of Quant Network. For decades, we have built technology by hand, carefully assembling systems piece by piece, much like factories operated before the Industrial Revolution. Progress was steady, but it was constrained by human scale and linear growth. Artificial intelligence marks a fundamental inflection point. AI is the industrial revolution of technology itself, a transition from manual construction to automated intelligent production. This shift unlocks exponential increases in output, embeds efficiency and scalability by design, and continuously elevates quality. More importantly, this is not a future that concentrates capability in the hands of a few. It is a journey towards a world where everyone can be skilled up. I like that right there because it just goes to show this ideology behind this level playing field and how we as retail investors should be utilizing these new technologies, not fighting against them, to level up, to expand our wealth, to expand our awareness. Yeah, it's crazy that this is all happening, but you do not want to find yourself left behind because you're ignoring this transformation, where individuals and organizations can contribute meaningfully to global output, and where value creation is no longer limited by access to capital, geography, or legacy infrastructure, right? Anybody with a smartphone and an internet connection can now connect directly to this new financial system and start to put their assets and their wealth to work and scale in global markets in ways that we've never seen before. As AI becomes part of the fabric of how systems are built and operated, productivity becomes more inclusive and opportunity more evenly distributed, and economic participation broader than at any point in history. This is like a straight wake up call. This is such a great post from Gilbert here. The result is not just faster tech, but a step in change in human progress, one that enables shared prosperity at scale the world has never experienced before. Yet technology alone is not enough. For this transformation to benefit everyone, it must be built on the foundations of trust, interoperability, governance, and without these things, scale creates silos and innovation outpaces coordination. This is where the next phase of the journey leads. As AI becomes a core layer of digital infrastructure, interoperability becomes the mechanism that allows intelligence to move seamlessly across networks, organizations, and jurisdictions. Trust becomes programmable, right? You guys see that vocabulary synchronicity right there. Programmable, embedded directly into systems rather than enforced after the fact. Where do we see that word? From right over here in the document from WNS, which is why I'm reading Gilbert Verdian's post, how it all loops together. Remember, this one talks about data rich processes, programmable money flows, and how it's all leaving the experimentation phase, right? Back to what Gilbert Verdian said to finish off this post. At Quant Network, our focus has always been on enabling systems to work together across technologies, markets, and borders. In an AI driven world, this capability becomes essential. It ensures that as productivity accelerates, participation broadens, as systems become more powerful, they also become more accessible. It is a future where growth is not limited by legacy infrastructure or fragmented systems, but enabled by connected, trusted digital foundations. I really like that post from Gilbert. Now, coming over here, I posted this to you guys the other day. This is something that Gilbert Verdian had said. This is a article that was published January 14th, 2026, and it's talking about how institutions must act now to define their role as issuers, custodians, or facilitators by modernizing their digital core with cloud or distributed ledger technology and AI. Any bank that fails to build out this agile infrastructure risks being displaced from the lucrative cross-border B2B and wholesale payments markets by digital native competitors. Okay. So it's literally telling you all, it's, well, collectively speaking, let's rephrase that. It's telling the banks if they don't adapt, they're going to get left behind. So think about that in the retail context. Think about how many people are just not finally tuned in with what's happening right now. Not their faults, mind you, because again, a lot of people are distracted by their day to day activities, the mainstream media that has their brains in a hold, and all these things. But nonetheless, there's so many people right now. I'd say probably 90, what? The crypto adoption is at like 6 to 7% of the global population. So that means 93 to 94% of the global population has no idea that this is taking place under the hood. Okay. That means you watching this right now are part of a very small percentage of the global population that is finally tuned in with what's taking place. To continue, this says, the market is shifting from the legacy correspondence system to a multi-rail landscape where stablecoins, instant payment linkages such as Project Nexus, and provider platforms will coexist. Banks must prepare systems that can orchestrate across these rails in real time, and there are several interoperability projects underway. Banks face a critical choice: lead in the programmable money era or be left behind as the infrastructure shifts beneath them. For banks, this isn't about defending the old system. It's about defending their position in a comprehensive digital money ecosystem that supports everything from micropayments to 24/7 large value settlement. Those that invest now, I repeat, those that invest now in the infrastructure to participate across all three models will shape the next generation of finance. And that's coming directly from Gilbert Verdian, CEO and founder of Quant, from just the other day on January 14th, 2026. So that was another phenomenal read. Now, over to this AI topic. Okay. We have seen some crazy symbology in some of the documents from some of the largest organizations in the game, showing you guys this one from PwC. Now, we know if we head over to the World Economic Forum and we look at the participants and the partners that are taking shape in this event, this is taking place from the 19th to the 23rd, January 2026. But if we come up here to the program, okay, or what is it, the theme? Let's see, open forum, digital members track. Oh, overview. Okay, we go to the overview and we come down here and we look at the partners list, right? We got PwC right here. And so I'm just kind of showing you guys some interconnectedness here. I'm not just trying to pull these documents out of random. They all play a role, and PwC clearly is a partner of the World Economic Forum. Looking at the synchronicity of this document here, you can see how the human is sort of bowing down almost in a sense to the AI. This to me looks like they're projecting that AI is more superior than the human being here, right? As the human is dubbed slightly beneath the AI. Now, if we read and we take a look at this, I said, look closely at how the human is positioned beneath the AI. That is not accidental. This is the direction the world is moving. AI is no longer just a tool. It is becoming the decision layer, the execution layer, the intelligence layer that governments, banks, regulators, and corporations are now building entire systems around. By 2027, AI regulation will be fully enforced across Europe and expanding globally. And it says it right here in this document, right? It says compliance timeline. All compliance and AI with the EU AI Act provisions begin in August 2025. So that was just last year. But the full compliance is required by August 2027. AI will be governed like financial infrastructure, tokenization, digital assets, programmable money, digital identity, and AI driven decision systems will sit at the center of national security and economic power. We are watching the transition in real time, from human led systems to AI governed systems, from manual oversight to autonomous intelligence. The same institutions that control money are now racing to control AI, data, and digital infrastructure. This is not about convenience. This is about power. This is about sovereignty. And this is about who controls the next financial and technological order. So position yourselves accordingly, right? Now, something else I really like here is it goes on to talk about the dates 2029 to 2035. So it gives these long term horizon projections. So again, position yourself accordingly with that long term mindset. Last but not least, coming over here to finish up today's video breakdown. This one was nuts. Shout out to the CYPRX researchers for this. Don't forget that all these documents from the largest organizations in the game and all this research can be found within inside the private CYPRX Discord. You guys can head over to cyprxtrading.com. The researchers are always sharing good value documents like this. No hopium, no hype, no mainstream research, just documents, panel discussions, LinkedIn profiles from some of the biggest organizations that you probably never heard of, but should be paying attention to, can all be found in our research channel. This is the World Economic Forum Global Risks Report 2026. And I said here in this post, the World Economic Forum's Global Risk Report 2026 is already sending a message before you even open it. The cover alone looks like something out of a dystopian sci-fi film. A glowing Earth sitting on the edge of a cliff. A world suspended over uncertainty. It is not accidental branding. It is symbolism. Just like how in the PwC report you have the human slightly underneath and below the AI. Inside the report, they outline 33 global risks shaping the next decade. Yeah, 33 risks. Interesting, right? For those who understand symbolism, 33 has always represented mastery, authority, and the highest level of initiation. In Freemasonry, the 33rd degree is the highest degree, the level of ultimate knowledge and oversight. Whether coincidence or intentional, institutions communicate in layers. The world is entering a turbulent decade. Power structures are shifting, and technology is rewriting society, and most people are not prepared. Now, what I'm about to read to you guys is not a conspiracy theory. This is institutional forecasting. AI is now ranked among the fastest rising global threat. The report specifically warns of large scale job displacement, structural shifts of power from humans to machines, and the risks of losing control over increasingly autonomous systems. So, just looking at some of the highlights from this report, it says AI is the risk with the largest rise in ranking over time, moving from number 30 on the 2-year outlook to number 5 on the 10-year outlook. AI at large explores how over the next decade AI could impact labor markets and societies and global security. Shor's algorithm is waiting for a quantum computer powerful enough to run it, and progress towards this objective is quickening thanks to AI. According to a survey conducted back in 2024, 53% of quantum experts believe that within the next decade, there will be at least a 50% likelihood of a quantum computer being able to break the RSA 2048, a type of public key classical mathematics based cryptography, within 24 hours. Time is thus of the essence in preparing for the milestone often termed Q Day. AI and previously applied human skills begin to atrophy. It is unclear if the path forward will be a golden age for creativity, leisure, and learning, or conversely, a drift into purposelessness, apathy, and societal decay. In an extreme scenario, control over many aspects of society could be ceded to AI. Third, with militaries' reliance on AI systems continuing to increase, the potential for misuse mistakes will rise to placing human lives directly at risk. AI could eliminate up to 50% of entry level white collar jobs within the next 5 years in the United States, potentially driving unemployment to 10 to 20%. Incremental AI advances could steadily erode human influence over the economy, culture, governance, and societal systems. The reason why I'm reading this to you guys right now is again because now is the time to pay attention, not neglect this transformation, but position yourself in such a way that you won't be dependent on universal basic income in the future by teaching yourself these new digital skills, by learning how to generate passive income with your digital assets, by investing in things that are going to appreciate against depreciating fiat currencies that are set to wither away in terms of value as we progress through this new digital era. With that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video breakdown. If you did, do me that favor. If you're not subscribed already, make sure that you subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button before you head off. It does boost the algorithm, as right now our algorithm is heavily shadow banned. Double check if you guys are subscribed to the CYPRX YouTube that you all are actually subscribed, because what we've noticed and people have been telling us is that YouTube is actually unsubscribing our followers for them, which is super weird, but nonetheless, shadow banning is 110% a thing that is taking place right now across multiple different social media platforms. We do, as always, appreciate the love and the support. We will continue to give you guys documented, in-depth research. Again, if you guys want access to any of these documents shared on a daily and weekly basis inside the private CyPrX community, you guys can head over to cyprxtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team. With that being said, none of this is investment advice. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy Quant or buy Hbar, the native digital assets of the networks in which we discussed today. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.